Yay. We're live. All right. I'm just refreshing so that I can make sure I share this out with my audience and we all can do the same. We are super, super excited for all of you that are joining us tonight. Make sure we're good. Don't see us yet.
Let's see. Refresh your screen.
I see us. Hey, if you are a business owner.
All right, cool. So welcome to our live. I'll have to share it in a moment then. We are super excited that you are here. My name is Kiara Jones. I am the messaging part of our group. I'll just have each lady just introduce herself before we kind of get started tonight. I'm the messaging side of things.
Yes, hi, my name is Justina. I am the mindset coach. Alicia, make sure you unmute yours. There you go.
Yes, I was sharing. I can't multitask. Sorry, y'all. And I thought we were going to have more of a little bit. I didn't know, like, hey, I'm just this. So sorry. I thought y'all were going to say more. Excuse me. So,
No.
hey, I am your marketing coach.
Yes, and we are going to go deeper, but I just want you to let everybody know who we each are. So I'm super excited to have you all live. If you are on the live stream, then make sure that you still comment. We'll be tracking those comments. If you're on the replay, go ahead and put replay so that we still can see you. We want you to, act like you're on the Zoom. So if you have questions that come up while we are talking, if a question that we answer for someone else is something that you resonate with, go ahead and put them in the comments. The three of us, will still go through comments and respond to you. So we don't want you to feel like if you're on the replay, we're not going to be able to give you, some nuggets and just respond to you as well, or any questions that you might have. So the first thing that I want to do is I just want to celebrate everyone here. So whether you're on the replay, whether you're live, you're obviously, for those that are in our Zoom room with us, we want to celebrate you because we understand the leap that you have taken, right? And we want to celebrate everything that you've done. And we also want to celebrate where you are going. And we know that it gets tough sometimes. You're kind of in this space of, listen, I've taken the leap, I've made this bold move, I've started the business, I've been doing the things, and some of it's working, but sometimes it feels like it's not, or sometimes it just feels like it's not enough. Like I still want more. And so I always love to start out with a little celebration because our goal here is to not take away from anything that you've done. Our goal is to propel you, to help you get to that next level of where you are truly meant and called to thrive. So today's topic, if you saw it, it's all about inconsistent results. And so when you have been in the space of grinding, it's kind of like you're doing random things, right? You have random results, you're getting random clients, you're making random sales, and you're really wanting to understand, what is it that I need to do to propel me to the next level of consistency. And that's what we're going to talk about. You literally have, I believe together we have been full time as an entrepreneur for like 24 years, plus like 20 years of us being our respective industries and niches and corporate careers and all that. So together, over 40 something years of experience, 24 of them us all being full time in entrepreneurship. So you have three women, literally at your fingertips right here, the same way that the women inside of our program called to Thrive, the Revenue Reboot, have. And we want you to take advantage of that, and allow us to support you, because when you're in the industry, it feels like you have to follow different strategies, and that causes you to feel scattered. And if you resonate with this, we want you to comment inside of the live. If you're on the Zoom, put it in the chat. If you're like, yes, I feel like I watched this webinar, this masterclass, I got this freebie, I saw this ad, and it tells you to do a million different things. Y'all, first of all, I want you to breathe. That's why I wanted to celebrate you, and we wanted to celebrate you when you came in, and we want you to breathe, because what happens when you are trying to follow everything else is that you follow you less. You listen to you less. You hear the intuition inside of you. You hear the divine calling from God within you less and less and less. And so the biggest thing that we want to do is help you step into deeper focus and deeper faith with what makes you incredible, with what makes you amazing. And we want to help you turn that into a more strategic and intentional action plan. So, our goal tonight is to have the three of us provide to you a holistic, well rounded approach. So, you're going to be able to ask a question, and we'll all answer it in our respective ways. So if there's a marketing component, Alicia's going to talk about that. If there's a messaging component, I'm going to talk about that. If there's a mindset component, Justina will talk about that. And that actually mimics our M3 formula, which is revamping your marketing, refining your messaging, and reigniting your mindset. And the three of those together, that M3 formula, helps you reboot your revenue. And that's what we want to help you do so that you step into a bigger, more consistency for your business. But it's not just your business, right? This is for your life. So we also want to let you know at some point we'll talk more about our program. We also will put the link inside of the comments for you. We do have our 6-week program coming up for enrollment for October. So we're starting in a couple of weeks. We're super excited to work with you, and you're going to be building out a customized messaging plan, a customized marketing plan, and getting the mindset support that you need to amplify your aligned action and that your authenticity, right? And so it's bigger than just the marketing, the messaging, and the mindset, right? Yes, we know you're going to master more marketing strategies to help you build more predictable sales. You're going to be crafting messaging to resonate with your clients and convert better. You're going to be aligning your mindset to overcome blocks that have held you back and feel more powerful than you've ever felt before. Those things are going to happen as you develop a strategic plan. But the bigger thing that's going to happen, y'all, is you're going to be able to let go of the doubt that's been haunting you. Right? We all know those moments where you're like confident and then you're like, I'm not sure. I did really good for a week. I was really consistent with my visibility. And then I went and hid for 3 more weeks. I did a sale, I got to know, and now I'm hiding, right? There's these moments where you like go all in and then you come back. And that back and forth is causing your money to be back and forth, your clients to be back and forth, your mindset to be back and forth, your mindset's all over the place, your energy, your messaging. So we want to help you not just do the strategy part of it, but the internal part of it, where you can confidently and boldly steer your business into this clear direction where you want to go next for your next level, where you can break through the mindset stuff coming up around money, around showing up, being visible, selling, where you are able to contribute to your family, right? Where you are able to contribute to the life that you want to create for yourself. You're able to have more time freedom. So it's not just making more consistent money. It's also, what is that going to do for you? And if you're watching us replay or live, I want you to think about that right now. What would me rebooting my revenue look like for me? What would it allow for me? What would it afford me to have? And yes, there's going to be some tangible things. There might be some debt, there might be some vacations, there might be a new car, a new house, things like that. But there's also deeper things you want inside of you, right? For you to be able to sit and to make a living and make money off of what it is that you're great at and your gifts, and be in a space where you're impacting others. Like, how does that feel every single day? I steal this line from my friend Justina. She talks about her slow mornings, and now I talk about slow mornings, but she was the who I heard it from first. And it's really like, I never realized the power of a slow morning coming from corporate, and you're grinding and you got to start here, you're in traffic, you're doing that. And to sit and to have, nope, the morning is all for me. I get to create, I get to be in my zone. God gives me downloads. I get to create content from it, or whatever that looks like for you. Maybe yours are slow nights and not slow mornings. You insert yours. But the point is, there's other parts of your life that you get to pour into when you have this bigger consistency. So our program, Called to Thrive, the Revenue Reboot, is where we go through all of this. So this is just a sneak peek of it. And we want to invite you. So make sure that you hit the link inside of the comments. When you get to the page, all you need to do is put your name and your email. That's it. You hit the button. It's going to unlock the page to all of the information. There's all the questions. Everything that you have is there. And we also are open books and happy to answer any questions as well. So with all of that being said, now we want to go ahead and dive deeper into our topic. So we're talking about inconsistency results and all the things I've shared. So let's go ahead and open up our time for questions. So go ahead and drop in the comments, what is one question, one business question you have, or a business challenge you have that you're wanting support with tonight?
So we already have a question from Waikisha here in the Zoom room. So if you're watching this on live stream, just note we do have people who signed up for hot seats. So they're in the Zoom room here with us. And so it's not too late for you to come in. You can still register and come in if you'd like to. But we're going to take care of the people who are asking their questions here first. And if we happen to have time to answer questions that are in the comment sections on Facebook, we will get to those as well. So Waikisha asked, how do I keep going when I'm getting no likes or responses? And so we kind of, before we started streaming, we had already addressed like, this is a great question for all 3 of us to answer, but I definitely want to start with Justina because first of all, how do I keep going? That is instant mindset. So we'll start with Justina.
Yes, hello again. It is Justina. I am the resident mindset coach for our revenue reboot program. So when I hear this question about How do I keep going? I think it's really important to remind ourselves of our why. Why is it that you decided to start this in the first place? Who told you to start this in the first place? And me being a woman of faith, I know that every action that I take, every decision that I make, I want to be in tune with the Father. I want to know that He has set me on that path. He's the one that orders our steps. So when it comes to no likes and no responses, my eyes can't really be looking over there at the no likes or the no responses. My eyes have to be really focused and centered on the action that the Father has asked me to take, right? That I know that I'm called to take. So whether that is showing up in a live stream, whether that is going out into my community and visiting businesses, I've had that like direct download from the Lord. Like, you go out into the community and you meet other people and tell them what you do. So I'm going to take the action that I believe is divinely inspired, and then I'm also going to take some of the logical action that I know that businesses are supposed to take. But how do you keep going? And if I take it even further, how do I keep going when there is a disappointment? Right? It's reminding myself that these actions are in place because I'm being obedient. Obedience over, whatever I see, right? I want to be obedient to what God is calling me to do. So that's how I keep going. First, like I said, just remembering the why. Why am I doing this? Who am I trying to impact? What results do I know I'm going to get once I keep going? And one of the biggest things that I don't know, there's this graphic that I've seen. I don't know if y'all have seen it for a visual where there's two men and they're like digging and they're digging and they're digging and they're getting to the prize. And one stops, he looks like this, he turns around and it's like, it's right there. Oh my gosh, it's literally right there. If you would have just kept going, you would have got there. So I hope that that is encouraging and just put some fuel under there for you. So I'm complete on my answer.
Thank you.
Awesome.
You're
Okay, well,
welcome.
Keisha, I am gonna put my bit on it because I'm coming as your resident marketing coach. And so when I see that question, I definitely have a different answer. So it's just gonna be a layered effect on top of what Justina just said. So yes, especially when you're in a position where you are trying to establish authority, right? So that's the one thing that you have to remember. You are entering a marketplace that there's people already moving and people are already talking and people are already in your niche and there's already leaders in your niche. And so a lot of times we're told, establish authority, establish yourself as a leader and an expert in the in your niche. So when you show up online, make sure you show up as like this authority, that you know what you're doing, that you know what you're talking. And I'm going to actually tell you, in 2024, you may not know this. Well, first, let me ask you, how long have you been doing this?
Uh, 2 years and 10 months.
2 years, 10 months. Okay. So
Mhm.
that's about 2022. Okay.
Mhm.
So 2021, 2022. So let me tell you, you came in a moment where the market was it was a what, as they call in the real estate, a seller's market. Okay. And basically what that means is that if you had an online business, if you were selling toilet paper, baby, everybody was buying it. It didn't matter what it was, if it was subpar or if it was excellent. Everybody was making money that 2020 and 2021 space. But here's what happened. When 2022 hit, the market regulated. And so it went back to being a normal market. And so when things seemed easier then, it wasn't that it was necessarily easy. It's just that people were hungry. The buyers were hungry for anything. And then guess what? People are not afraid anymore. The economy stabilized and people went back to work. So they thought they wanted an online business, or they thought they wanted this, or they thought they wanted that. And then they were like, oh, I'm good. I feel secure. I'm going back to work. I'm good. Right. And another thing that was happening was that people were getting burned. So because the buyers were hungry, people entered the marketplace that was just selling subpar stuff. They weren't real coaches. They weren't real experts. They weren't real anything. They just wanted a piece of the pie. And then once they made their cash, they left. And so those buyers who bought end up getting products that were subpar. And so now they don't trust nobody. And now you have to do, now it's almost like a mindset of like, you have to song and dance me, romance me to get my money. Right. So now we're back into 2022. And so now it may feel harder than when you first started. And that's because, like I said, the market has regulated and now we're back to normal. And so now what's kind of expected from the person has evolved. Right. So there was a point where, yes, you had to showcase your expertise. You had to bring, all your previous knowledge, all this. I'm great. I'm awesome. I do this. I help my clients do this. Da, 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 da. Well, the buyers are smarter now. They know about ChatGPT. They know about all the things. So there's nothing hidden in the marketplace anymore. The buyers are smart. So now, in order to gain likes and comments on your post, you don't want to focus on just building an audience purely based on expert value content. You now have to be authentic. So I don't know if you noticed, I have literally been cracking jokes this whole time since we've been in here. I'm showcasing my personality. That is what people want. People want authenticity now. So tell me what you do. What's your niche?
I'm a math coach for aspiring real estate agents. I help them pass the real estate exam.
Gotcha. So actually, this is actually okay. So the fact that I even used the real estate analogy, I was right on. Look at that. So then you more than anything would understand how this kind of works in the real estate agency, because they felt the same thing that the online coaching people faced. Everybody wanted to go get their real estate license because everybody was like, oh, I don't want my job. I just want to sell. If I could just sell one house, I'm good for the rest of the year. So like they saw it as easy money. So then everybody went and got their real estate license. And then now that the economy has, back in 2022, when it normalized, they went back to work and they're like, I'm okay. So the flood of people there are not there anymore. And so for you, it's going to be a matter of, again, being authentic. And so, yes, you want to talk about being a math coach. Yes, you want to talk about the pain points. Yes, you want to talk about the problem points. Yes, you want to talk about those things. But they also want to hear the stories of how you even got here. Like, why are you a math coach for people trying to get their real estate license? How did you become a math coach? Why did you choose real estate agents? They want to hear those intricate stories. They want to hear about those though, not just the bottom moments, like those rags to riches stories. We love a good rags to riches story, but sometimes we don't. Sometimes we're ready for a mundane story too, right? We want to hear your opinions. We want to hear what you have, what you think about what's going on in the real estate agent. I mean, in that industry. What are your thoughts and opinions? They want to hear that. They want to humanize you. And they want to see that they can see you. If they can't envision you helping them get across that line, they're going to move on. So there's a lot I can say, but I'm gonna stop it right here and just say authenticity is going to be the major flavor for you.
Okay.
Love it. This is like a cake, right? We got the first like 3-layered cake. It's one layer, one layer, one layer. This is it. So I love what has been shared already. Some things that I thought to add here, and then I'll ask you some questions. So first and foremost, I just want to say this for everyone. When we have an absence of likes, an absence of comments, that does not mean people are not listening. Okay. I don't know about y'all, but we're humans. We're nosy. Okay. There are people who sit and look at stuff, will not comment, will not say anything. If I could tell you the amount of clients, right, who I have signed And I go back and I'm like, I never saw them. I never saw their like, I never saw them comment on my video. I never saw them interact with my stuff. They don't, I looked at my emails. They haven't really opened my emails. It feels like, where did they come from? Right. But people do watch, right? And sometimes individuals aren't ready to necessarily move forward, and they're afraid to reach out. They're afraid to start the conversation because they're like, okay, I know I got to get my money up. I know I'm not ready mentally, whatever that is, right? Not here to sit and figure out everything for everyone, right? But when they're ready, we're here. So we have to keep showing up. So what we don't want to do is interrupt our visibility, our marketing, and also be careful and protect your mindset with what Justina started with, right? Because you don't want to make those things cause you to go into a space of doubt with yourself. So that's the first thing that I want to say. The second thing I do want, with that being said, we are not naive to, I'm not going to spend 10 years and no one's reaching out, or no one's doing this, or no one's doing that. So we do have to be careful. But I just want to say, layer it with that first as a foundation. Now we want to add to that, we would need to assess a little bit more so that we can understand, what do you mean when you say there's no likes or no comments, or whatever it is. And the reason I say that is because this also is information. So not information for us to go compare and feel like we got to change everything, but there could be very small but simple and powerful tweaks that you can make that allow you to start talking to who it is that you really want to talk to. So we have to balance the two of those, and having support and mentorship helps you kind of go through, because sometimes you're so close to it that you don't see, you're like, I'm doing everything, and we're like, oh, but did you try this? And like, well, actually no. Or here's how I've been doing this, I've been doing it this way for 6 months, and it's like, oh, we just needed to tweak that, and now you can go put that back out. So we got to be careful with that. So now I do have some questions for you. So you said you've been doing this for about 2.5 years, almost 3 years. So a couple.
You're muted, Kiara, just in case you didn't know.
Have I been muted this whole time? No, right? Oh, okay. Whew, Jesus. Okay.
No,
I know
you're
y'all
back.
wouldn't let me do. Okay. Sorry, y'all. I was saying, let me go back to your question. But did you get the end of that, Waukesha? The two of, we got to be careful with, we got to understand, don't let it mean something that nobody's looking, people are still looking. And then the second part of that is, but now let's go deeper and assess to figure out, okay, let's understand maybe why they're not. Did you get? Okay, perfect. So your
Yes.
question was, how do I keep going when I'm getting no likes and comments? So I just want to do this. When you say no, so are you saying just yes or no first? Are you saying over 2.5 years to 3 years, no one has ever liked, ever commented, or ever paid you for your work? Just yes or no first.
Yes, people have paid me for my work. I'm talking about the last 6 months.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason I do that is because then that gives us information to identify, hold up. So then we got to go through what changed 6 months ago. So that could be some of what Alicia's talking about. But I want to also encourage you to do some reflecting on also, what was there something that shifted in your messaging or your marketing or your mindset at that 6 month period. So I wish we had time to do a full assessment, but that would be, which for those coming into Call to Thrive, we do, Alicia's doing a whole marketing assessment literally the first week of the program. I do a whole messaging assessment. Justine is going to be doing a whole mindset assessment, and this is going to be customized for you. No one, Waukesha's not going to get, Yolanda's marketing plan or messaging plan. They're customized for you. Anyway, the assessment is important. So I would encourage you to do that. But I also want everyone to notice something. So you just said, oh no, I have been, but it's something at the 6 month period. So we got to be careful, y'all, with our words. This is just my opinion. Alicia be on me. She always be talking to me about my words. She's like, is it no? Is it yes? Is it this? Is that? I'd be like, oh, well, maybe. And this is one of those, nope. Is it yes or no? That's it. So when we say I'm not getting it, there's none of this happening, we have to be careful. And the reason why I say that is because now you've allowed yourself to go in a spiral, which I do know about spirals, for 6 months, saying, oh, well, nobody's getting this. And then you've been feeding yourself that. Nobody's liking this. Nobody's doing this. Nobody's doing that. Nobody's doing that. Where it's like, oh, very clearly, let me go and assess for the first 2 years that was really successful. So now this would be an exercise for you. What have people been gravitating to? So I'm just going to really quick ask you off the top of your head, can you think of something in your messaging or your content that changed 6 months ago? Does anything come up for you?
Well, I really haven't really put out any content really out for my business. It kind of slowed down and I went back to work. because of it.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So around the 6 month mark, so when you feel like the engagement got was lowered, you also kind of feel like your visibility was decreased as well. Is that your visibility increased and the engagement decreased? Okay.
Correct.
So, one, this is why I opened up with our celebration. We are all here to love on you, to celebrate where you are, and to celebrate where you're going. So there's no judgment here, and this is a safe space in the space. But I do want you to just take that in of, oh, well, I showed up less. So then guess what? People showed up less too.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't ask people to show up if we're not showing up. With that being
That's true.
said, the last thing that I'll just kind of say from a messaging perspective, go back. You want to examine during that 2.5 week period what worked really well, right? And go back through all the clients that you, since you have been paid, you've made money in this business, so go back to assess. My favorite exercise to do is like a top 3 client assessment, and just kind of look at your messaging for that individual and ask yourself, okay, what is the number one thing that I supported them with, and what's the number one result that they got? And for 30 days, for 90 days, consistently talk about that, and also add in what Alicia was saying with the authenticity, bringing in that storytelling component with your messaging. So we could go deeper and do a whole thing for your client, but that would be my feedback from there. But I hope that you got a breakthrough through that of, wait a minute, I gotta show up. I can't ask other people to be showing up and engaging, and I wasn't.
Mhm.
So with the 3 of us supporting you, can you tell us one takeaway that you've had from any of the support that you've gotten so far?
Um, what I got so far is be authentic and start telling my stories. Like I remember I think I put in the group message and money in the message about not want to tell my story about I'm on my 12th try. So be more authentic so they'll know where I'm at. So they know that they can do it too. Yeah.
Ooh,
And I've
so
helped so many.
that actually,
Hmm.
Justina was the one that kicked us off, right? Yeah, that actually would be,
Hmm.
so I hope everybody sees this. This is why, y'all, if you give me a second for my friends, this is why we created this. Because so many people are going into programs where you only get mindset support, where you only get messaging support, where you only get marketing support. I'm sitting here talking about the messaging, and I want to go all in. I'm over here like, listen, I want to go look at your content from that time period. What was most successful? Who was your most successful client? The top 3. Let's build out your messaging and content plan from that. I know Alicia's like already thinking about the marketing things, but do y'all see, we could sit and Alicia and I can give you the marketing and messaging strategy, but then that mindset piece that just came at the end, that's where Justina's work, right, comes in, of what's going on there. So that really is like identity. And I don't want to go too far into that. That's her zone, but it's some identity stuff coming up there. But I just want to show for everyone, that's the power of you having total 3M support, mindset, marketing, messaging, because in the moment of the marketing and the messaging happening, there also is a mindset component that needs to be broken through there. So thank you so much for being so brave and so beautiful. If anyone else has anything to add, feel free to. I have more, but I want to be mindful because I see we have other questions and things popping up.
Hmm. Thank y'all.
Yes, thank you so much for being brave enough to ask your question. I think we're ready for the next question. You want to go, Alicia?
Yeah, so since we started with we ended with Kiera, so we're gonna start with Kiera. So Yolanda has a question. I saw your face, Kiera. When you are preparing to relaunch, how do you stay focused on the future and let go of the past? Well,
Unmute, Kiera.
Sorry. I was saying, oop, mindset stuff there, but from a
yeah.
messaging, right? Just I was like, oop, that's the Justina. But for the messaging part first. So when you're preparing to relaunch, how do you stay focused? So first of all, when we talk, oh, there's so much here. When we talk about messaging for relaunching, my clients do this all the time, because as you expand and evolve, you become new versions of yourself. So the brand you had a year ago, the messaging you had a year ago may no longer resonate with you today. So whenever I hear anybody bring up relaunch, I actually call it realignment. It's you realigning into the next level of your message, the message that I am meant to share for this level of who I am and what I'm meant to do. Because a year ago, 2 years ago, that might have been different. So just from a messaging perspective, I would encourage you to think about what are parts of the old message that still feel true, that still resonate, still feel true, so that you don't lose that. Because some people I've seen come in and they think for relaunch, we're throwing away everything. And in actuality, there's some things there that actually did work. So we want to be careful of like throwing that away. And then we want to ask, and what is the new? What else have I experienced that I want to add into my storytelling strategy? What else have I helped clients with over the last year that I didn't before, that now I want to make sure I bring into my messaging and my content? When I look at my framework, right, all of y'all should have a signature method, a signature framework, right? When you're looking at that, maybe the clients I worked with 2 years ago on my framework, ooh, I've worked with 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 more. And wow, I realized I want to add this into my framework. I realized I want to add that. So whenever you're in that relaunch period from a messaging standpoint, I always recommend, and then you also said, how do I stay focused on the future and let go of the past? So, this is just my thoughts. The mindset queen is here. But for me, especially with a mix of mindset and messaging, I don't, I often find that 90% of my clients who come in for relaunching, they say I want to let go of the past, but there's some parts of the past that were beautiful. Like what I was saying, there's some parts that were so powerful. There's some parts, like, I'm gonna be honest, y'all. I'm in year 8 of me being full time, and y'all, I can think about stuff that I talked about years ago that was so beautiful and so powerful, and I've said, oh, why haven't I talked about that in a while? Why did I stop talking about that? So I just want to be careful from a messaging standpoint with completely letting go of the past, because there is this level of, sometimes along the journey, you start to compare yourself and see other messaging and content and strategies and this and that, and you start to change your stuff. And then you're like, wait a minute, I was doing that 5 years ago and I should have kept doing that. I shouldn't have stopped. So if you're in relaunch, I just want to caution you on the whole letting go of the past. I want to, maybe there's some reframing that you need to do in perspective on that. With that being said, there are things from the past where like, deuces, bye-bye. And you can feel that in your heart. You know what you kind of, you need to let go of. So what I would say is, staying focused on the future, letting go of the past. Trust yourself on, here's the parts I want to keep. This, I'll give y'all this. This is actually an exercise I do with clients. Here's what I want to keep. Here's what I want to tweak. Here's what I want to delete. Keep, tweak, delete. Okay. So just kind of think about that for that part. You can go through your messaging, you can go through content for that. And let me see, is there anything else from a messaging standpoint for focusing on the future, letting go of the past? When it comes to messaging specifically, clients are coming up to me. Sometimes you kind of want to let go of parts of your old audience you used to talk to. And so actually, well, Yolanda did inform us that I don't know if she was driving or something, she wasn't able to chat too much. I would love to hear what exactly you feel like you want to let go of the past, but something about I don't know, but something about clients is coming up for me, for you. So it might be a transition of a different audience, or maybe there's a more elevated audience. Don't know where that's coming from, but from a messaging standpoint, focusing on the future of who you want to serve and how you want to serve them and how you want to speak to them and how you want your content to feel and how you want your clients to experience your content and your messaging, is what I would focus on. So trust yourself with whatever needs to be let go from the past. Trust yourself on that. Take what was beautiful and felt right, clients that felt right, programs that felt right, messaging that felt right, and then, toss the rest, and then understand, okay, well, what now do I want to tweak and, elevate, and what is new? So those would be some of my thoughts. But I'll hand it off to Justina.
Kira, that was so good. I loved all the pieces you went into. Like you said, Yolanda is not able to actually, speak at this time. So we are kind of answering this question a little blindly. But when I think about letting go of the past and focusing on the future, there's an element of you realizing that like there's something I need to release, there's something I need to let go of, and there's something that needs to, the way I look at it is like almost like atmosphere, right? What was the atmosphere like when you launched that time? So if it was an atmosphere of, I had a lack mentality, my self-worth wasn't in place, my identity has shifted and I'm showing up in a new capacity, but I keep doing this, right? It's almost like I'm feeling what was going on back then. I'm feeling, the lack of results that I got from back then, but I'm trying to move forward into the new. This is where I talk about emotional frequency. That is the piece that you're probably, and I'm just speaking out loud. That's probably the piece that you're sensing. And this is where, as a mindset coach, being able to partner with these beautiful women in messaging and marketing, that I get to bring in that mind body work to the program. So the mind body work that I do, it is rooted in, like, Holy Spirit is the guide. I just have to be really, really clear about that, because I've been in programs where they're doing mindset work and it's new age laced. I am not a new age coach. Okay. I am led by the Holy Spirit, but I do understand that science is the thing that proves God. So we are going to lean into the science and look at the emotional frequency. So that is that stagnation sometimes that we're taking with us into the next launch. So for me, I get really excited that I get to teach these energy psychology tools. That way you can practice them, where you can really release the old at a mind body level, because emotions get stored in our organs. They get stored in our cells. Okay. So I want to help you all shift your mindset at a cellular level. And we're doing so where God gets the glory out of it. Okay. So I just want to be really clear about that. So in some other pieces, whether it was a lack mentality, whether it was people pleasing that was going on before, yes, we're going to have to shift even the limiting beliefs around the launch last time. There's something you are believing from the last time you launched that you're bringing into this next one. And we got to identify that, right? So then we can then do the emotional freedom technique, which is EFT tapping, which is acupressure points that we're able to tap on. And what it does is we have the fear, flight, and fight responses. So anytime, like the last launch, if it was, it could have been messy with a business partner. It didn't even have to be financially a flop. It could have just been some negative energy with a business partner. You had to fire someone, all that kind of stuff going on, right? So the fight, flight, or fight responses are responding to what happened last time. So you're getting triggered and you're wondering, why am I so triggered when I have to relaunch this thing? It's because it's still stored. So when we do the EFT tapping, it actually calms the amygdala. It activates the prefrontal cortex. That way you can then make decisions from a place of peace. There's something that's so important about being in a state of peace, trust, relaxation, I'm even going to say, as a CEO, as an owner, because you have to make decisions every single day in your business. And part of that decision making is this relaunch that you're talking about. So that emotional frequency of the past is what you're going to be able to let go of. And you can only stay focused on the future when you've processed the past. And we're not talking about just processing it logically, but processing it on a subconscious level, a DNA level, the mind body level. And just to add in there, I come from a trauma-informed background. So again, we don't know what your last launch was like. And we have no idea. You could have been launching an event at a hotel where there was some form of, I don't want to speak this stuff, but it could have been a robbery at the darn thing, and now there's just that emotional stuff going on. And I got to go back to this event and I'm just throwing stuff out there. The point is, we can only move into the future when we've truly processed the past, and we're not just stuffing it, and we're not just trying to cover it up with the positive. That's why in this, you're not going to see any empty mantras, things that you're repeating that are not actually related to you and what you've gone through. Like what you said, Kiera, those assessments that we're going to do, they're specific to you. So that's what I got for you, Miss Yolanda. I wish we could ask you questions and go deeper, and we could have even probably done some tapping on here, but Alicia, you're next, my dear.
Actually, I'm gonna pause on the marketing, and I just want to because this really truly was a mindset question. And so I'm gonna toot your horn because I know you won't. You Justina Ford. So I just want y'all, like everybody, to understand, sometimes when you're in business, they try to convince you that this is pure logic, that it's all analytics, it's all data, it's all, make the decisions, blah, blah. And while you do need to do that at times, You are human. You have feelings. Listen, when it don't work, don't act like you're not disappointed. When you don't get the likes and the comments, don't act like you're not disappointed. You are. Okay. And what happens based on what Justine is saying is that when you feel disappointment and then the conditioned mind says, you shouldn't feel disappointed, turn that off. You stuff it, like she just said, you suppress it, but that doesn't make it go away. So now that disappointment is operating in the back of your mind. So now at this point, every decision that you are making about your launch, about your offer, about you going live, about you being consistent on showing up on social media, about making content, is coming from a place of disappointment. So then, even if you do convince yourself to make content, it's now tainted with disappointment. You're like, y'all not going to, in the back of your mind, you may not consciously say it, but in the back of your mind, your brain is having a conversation like, girl, ain't nobody going to read this. Why are you doing this? Ain't nobody going to buy this. Why are you doing this? Don't you remember the last time we did this? It didn't work. So you're moving with that. And so then you're wondering, well, but I'm doing all the things and it's not working because you're still operating under disappointment. So when Justina is saying you have to, like we say mindset, but what we mean is we mean that mind and body work. Get in there and get that stuff out of there. You have got to process the disappointment. You have got to process the failure. And here's the beautiful part. A lot of the stuff that you're carrying is not even business related. It could be coming from your corporate job. It could be coming from a relationship. Your body does not care what triggers it. It just knows what the emotion feels like. So your baby brother could have taken something out of your piggy bank when you was 5, and now you're 45 years old, having money issues because of something your baby brother did. It doesn't care, right? So your job as a human, as a person who knows that you were called to do entrepreneurship, it's not just winning at sales, winning at marketing, being the known leader and your expert. That's all fruit, y'all. That's all fruit. The work is letting go all these past disappointments, letting go of the trauma, letting go of this. And listen, I get it. If you are of a certain age, my mom is a baby boomer and she was like, therapy. What? But now that she's 70 years old, she's like, oh, I see what my parents did there. I see what my dad did there. I see what my brother did there. I'm like, oh, okay. I see what I did there. I see what my ex-husband did there. Like you don't realize it, that who you are today is an accumulation of everything that has happened to you up until this point. So if you want a different results, guess what? You got to be a different person. You don't do. I know you clutch your pearls, honey. Clutch it. I think a lot of times we get caught up, like even in marketing, you can have the best sales strategy, but the moment there's a twinge of disappointment, you will shut everything down and you won't move forward. That's not the strategy. That's not the marketing. That's you. So I just wanted to re-emphasize, like in this program, it's not just, oh, we're going to talk about mindset. Ha, 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 ha. Baby, we getting to work. You want a revenue reboot. We going to reboot it. Okay. That means we're going to shut it down or restart it, not your business, but we have to shut you down and restart you. And Justina is fantastic with that. She has a lot of different protocols, y'all. And I get it sometimes, especially if you're of the Christian faith, it feels like, oh, all we need is Jesus. And we do. That's all we need. And he will still give us tools and resources to help you to come to him in a different way. So use everything. I was always taught everything on this earth belongs to him. even if other industries are under other people who denounce him use those things as their for themselves, that don't mean that it was created for them. They didn't create it. There's nothing that anybody created except him, right? Things can be manipulated, but if it's a tool and if it can help you, if it's a protocol, if it's therapy, if it's sound baths, if it's bowls, whatever you got to do, if it's EFT, tapping, all of that, throw all of it at it. Use everything, okay? And get the breakthrough that you need so that you can move forward and hit those and be a different person so that you do different things so that you can get the results that you want.
Thank you, Miss Mia. We do have one more question. Do we have?
Can
Oh,
I before
Karen?
I
Yes, yes.
just have to. Okay, so Justina just put in the comments, yes, the enemy, right, is the great imitator. I just wanted to say this, listening to, and this is literally, and this is what Justina brings out of us. You see how Alicia and I, we be on the strategy side. And then sometimes we be like, oh nope, that's mindset. Because if I give them the thing, they're not even gonna execute it. So I just wanted to say two things. One, talking about the enemy, we do powerful work. I already know that the women that we call in do powerful work. I don't care how long someone else did it compared to you, you still do powerful work. I don't care how much money somebody else made this month versus you, you still do powerful work. So the more we can doubt ourselves, the more we question ourselves, the more the enemy wins. So every extra month I spend doubting my thing is an extra month I didn't put it out. Every extra year I spend judging myself, and I kind of put out content, but then I kind of did it and then I was like, well, people didn't like it and they didn't comment, so I just hit. The more we hide, the more we hold back, the only one that is winning. There's the people that need us aren't winning because they don't see us. They're not getting the full us. Or when we show up and we show up as Alicia says, a representative, or half of us, like the only one that benefits, it's not us, it's not our wallets, it's not our families, it's not our bank accounts, it's not the places that we want to invest our money in, it's not the people we want to invest in and support for impact and transformation. We don't get to touch their lives. We don't get to do the good that we're here to do. So I love that the conversation came here, because I even, when Justina talks about it, like it's trauma, it's kind of like a little PTSD, like, oh my God, I remember when I did it before, like, oh, I'm afraid of that happening again, and judgment and shame. And it's really you having judgment and shame of yourself around, here's what I thought I should have did before that I didn't do, and I'm afraid if I don't do it this time, or if I put myself back out but people saw me before and they were like, why are you doing it, all those things. It's like all the internal judgment of what you think is going to be seen. The only one that we should be worried about is, if God put this on my heart, he has not taken it away. It is a mosquito. This business keeps coming to me. I've been doing this for 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, whatever. This thing keeps coming to me. This idea, I wanted to get on YouTube for years, y'all. I just got on YouTube this year, and I'm like, what the heck took me so long? These two was like, here, what are you waiting for? You done thousands of Facebook lives. What haven't you gone over there? But did it ever leave me? No. Doesn't matter how long it took me, it never left me. So it is that mosquito that will never leave you. So I hope that encourages you, Yolanda, with all of this, with your relaunch, and all the beautiful things. We're excited to celebrate you as you step forward into it and the next level of it. It's beautiful. So the next question was
So it's from Natasha.
oh, beautiful. Natasha says, my challenge regarding marketing is my newsletter. The goal is to build a deeper connection, but I don't want to sell much. Any recommendations for striking a good balance? So I have thoughts. Alicia, you want to go first, or what you want to do?
Well, she says, but I don't sell much, not I don't want to sell much. Just making sure you
Oops,
caught.
sorry. I'm so sorry.
I was just making sure that we were
You want
all
me
on
to
the
go
same.
first, or okay?
Yeah, I can go there. And Natasha, I don't know if you can come off mute or whatever. Um but so your challenge is regarding marketing is my newsletter. The goal is to build a deeper connection, but I don't sell much. So I'm just going to take some liberties. So basically you have an email newsletter that you send out, and I assume you kind of offer services and stuff. But um you're not really seeing the sales from that. Is
Alicia,
that what's going on?
yeah, not to interrupt
Yeah,
you. Y'all got it.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think, excuse me. So what I started thinking, and I sort of had this revelation, is okay, you're sending out your newsletter I send out my newsletters every 2 weeks. And I usually pick a topic or something that happened in my life and try to tie it into a lesson and so on. And as I was doing that this past week, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm sending out this newsletter every 2 weeks. This is a lot of energy, right, to do that. And I'll promote my podcast as well, but I don't directly sell in my newsletter. So in the next iterations that I planned out, I started putting in book a consultation, or actually I think book a consultation is in there, but it's like one of those lines at the end of my rant. And so that's what I mean by me not necessarily intentionally selling. It's not that I don't want to, I just don't want to. And I'm saying this now. I'm hearing myself speak, right?
I know where
Uh,
you're going with this, so go
yeah, I'm
ahead.
hearing
Come
myself
on,
speak.
get it out.
Yeah, right. It's not that I don't want to sell, it's that I don't want to come across as salesy within it, and I want to provide value. And so that's the challenge, right? And so that's why I asked that question as to, well, what is a good balance? And how do you strike that balance where you're not just sending, because I'm on some people's email list, and every single time I get something from them, I'm being sold to, right? And I'm not necessarily interested in a product, or not necessarily interested in buying right now, but I just feel like every time I get the communication from them, it's not necessarily value, it's just them selling me something.
Mhm. Gotcha. So let me ask you a question. Tell me about, so what do you, if I had money to give you, what am I buying from you?
So I do event management. So I help coaches, consultant business owners, nonprofit organizations, and I help them to plan and produce their events.
So
I
it's
know
made for you
exactly.
services.
Right. So it could be a heavy lift for some. And so I've started to offer consultation services. So that's an easier way to work with me. But I do also offer virtual event services. So I don't necessarily, and now that I'm saying all this, I don't necessarily list out all those things or all those ways that people could work with me. It's just, I'm the events person, because every single time you get an email from me, it's about events and how you can strategize around events. But I don't necessarily talk about all those different facets of how they can work with me.
Absolutely. So I love how you were catching yourself now that you're actually saying things out loud and not just thinking about it in your head, but you're absolutely correct. So without this being super drawn out, because I can talk all day. So my jam, because marketing is a very vast place. Okay. It's a very vast thing. And so it can mean, but basically marketing can mean a lot of different things. Okay. And so what you were talking about in particular is my jam, which enters funnels. Okay. The newsletter, I will say, don't don't take offense, but newsletters are kind of dated. In the sense that newsletters represented, hey, if you want to stay connected to me, join my email list, and then you get a weekly letter that kind of gives you a little bit of value, a little bit of inside my life. Market changed, and people don't really care about the leader as much. What they care about is what can said leader do for me. So it's kind of like what I told Waukesha earlier was, if people can't see themselves or see you helping them cross that finish line, they're somewhere else. So case in point, so what I want you, so with that being said, when you talk about I don't want to come off as salesy, I'm going to tell you, if they want to put on an event and that is what they want to do, if they're not buying services from you, they're buying services from somebody else. So that's the part you have to keep in the back of your mind. You don't have to come off as salesy, but their money is going somewhere else because they're going to get this event done with or without you. And so when you have that in the back of your mind, I guarantee you won't feel salesy anymore. because people will pay for the thing that they want. You not feeling salesy is just something in you, going back to mindset. It's something in you. Like, for example, you actually nailed it. You said, I'm on somebody else's email list, and it feels like every time I open their email, they're selling to me. Well, they're a business, right? That's what businesses sell. Businesses do. We don't get mad when Target be sending us they Circle Week newsletter every week in their magazine saying, hey, we got 2 for this and 5 for this, and you get 10% off for being a Circle member. We don't get mad at Walmart. We don't get mad at Target. They're selling stuff. So why is it when we have a personal brand that we don't want to sell anything? People want to buy. And so I want you to remember this concept, because this is something that I was taught when I was in-person commission sales. People don't want to be sold, but they love to buy. Meaning people are going to spend money regardless. But what they don't want, so there is a balance. So I get what you're saying in the sense, like, there needs to be a healthy balance, and there needs to be, because yes, people don't want to constantly be sold to everything they open unless they understand that concept of the store. Like, if you're a store, then yes, they understand that you're going to be constantly selling to them. But some people expect, as a person who's offering done for you services, they also understand, well, I don't need your services right now. So do I have to see your promos right now? And you can't really predict that. So what I would say for you is adding funnels into what you're doing. A newsletter is great, but a newsletter, because you said it takes a lot of energy, that's because you're doing it in real time. A funnel is something that you do. An email sequence is something that you create now, and it just runs in the background. You don't have to worry about writing a new email every time. So there's nothing wrong with doing your newsletters. And what I would do is, why don't you write a collection of emails that can be scheduled automatically? So then now you don't have to think about it, and you can you can have value. So do a series. So you could do a value series. Do a value series where you're teaching, and you just turn it into a value sequence. But then you also make a collection of emails talking about how great your services are, talking about what you've done, talk about what people have done with their events, talk about what people have been able to accomplish, what thing, like your skill behind the scenes. Like, people want to see that 3D effect of a event in an email, because they don't know. So how can I pay you when I don't really know what you do? Sometimes as experts, we are blinded by the fact that I know too much. But to somebody who don't know as much as me in my audience, I'm assuming that they know just as much as me, and they don't. So I'm a baby. I don't know anything about events. I don't know what you do. I don't know all the intricacies. I can't say it. I'm trying to say it. I don't know all the small details that you do, but the person who's going to buy needs to know that. Why? Because if you are showing me all the little minute details that I'm going to have to worry about, honey, I don't want to have to worry about that. But I don't know. Right? But it's going to take Natasha to tell me that in an email that she is putting out there. So look into funnels, look into those things, and start putting a collection of emails together that you can put in an automation inside of your email marketing provider, where you can have a value sequence, and you can also have a sales sequence where you're talking about the what, the why, the who, the how of your services, right? And then that call to action is book a consultation so that we could talk about your event, that type of thing. And go from there. Also, create something of value. You've heard these all the time, create a freebie. If you can come up with some type of event checklist, some type of event guide, some type of 3 things, 3 mistakes that people make in their events, like a PDF type of thing, to help people get on your email list as you're being on social media that'll also support you as well.
Ooh. Put in
Was
the
that a lot,
comments
Yeah,
Natasha?
thank you. Thank you.
what is your freebie, Natasha? You said you have one.
The freebie is the event host planning guide or starter guide.
Okay.
So for someone who's starting their event, and you might feel really confused about what are the steps that you need to take in order to do that. So that it's a series of 5 videos, checklists, and another document, and just an outline of how a small outline of how you can start putting together your budget as well. So it's really meaty, but it's something that I don't necessarily promote as much either. So as you were talking, Alicia, about, hey, you need to get a freebie and you need to automate some of these things and put them in a sequence, that's something that for sure I could definitely put in the sequence because I already have the asset. It's just a matter of putting that together. So thank you.
Absolutely. And in that, so I'm assuming that goes out, they sign up and they get it automatically, right?
Correct. Yes.
All right. So then you need to attach 2 emails that sell your consultation. So you can sell your consultation because I'm going to try to digest this stuff and it's going to be too much. I'm already going to look at it and be like, oh, this is too much. But then if it's like, hey, book a free consultation and I can help you walk you through this stuff. Because the goal is to try to just get them on the phone so that you can sell your
Mm-hmm.
services.
Mm-hmm.
Sell your consultation in with that, like immediately, because you have my attention before I get distracted with somebody else.
Mm.
Because
Okay.
you're not the only event. Like I said, if I am going to put on an event, you're not the only events person's page email list I'm on. I guarantee you.
Mm-hmm.
So while you have my attention, sell me the consultation. You don't necessarily have to sell me the offer yet. Just get me on the phone.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. And to the earlier part of the conversation where I was talking about, well, not necessarily coming off too salesy. So with that starter guide, there is email daily emails that go out with each one of those 5 videos. So the idea is that you watch one of these videos every day. You also get an email that's reminding you to watch the video and sort of like walks you through some of the things that you might have watched in the video, right? And after the 5 days, that last email is the email that I sell the consultation. It's not get on the phone with me for 15 minutes or a free consultation. So what I hear you saying is put that thing in the front as soon
Put
as
it
you
in front.
up, right? As soon as you
Yes, like
sign
the
up, you get
second they get
that.
my getting, the
You're
very
not
next
waiting 5
email
days.
is sign
Right.
up for this consultation.
You're not waiting 5 days to get that thing. So yeah.
No, ma'am, because I may not be with you in 5 days.
Exactly, exactly. And even when I track to see, how much people are actually going through the content, is generally averaging about like 35, 40%. So a lot of them aren't going through the whole 5 days of the videos.
Yeah.
And so to your point, they might not see that email that comes on day 5. So
Exactly.
I'm definitely missing out on money and being able to build a deeper connection with those leads for sure.
Absolutely. And the beautiful part, I'll just add is one part, and then I'll be quiet because I have people, my other comrades that want to say something to you. Um, I will also say this: nothing is wasted. So this is for everybody. Nothing is wasted. Okay. And what I mean by that is when you sell, it kind of goes back to what Kiera was saying. You make a post and you don't get any likes and you don't get any comments. That don't mean people didn't read it. People see your emails. They may not open it, but they see your emails. So you're still in their inbox. So you're still top of mind when you are consistent. I get to decide when I want to tap into you, but if you're never consistent, you will be forgotten because you're not coming to top of mind. So that's where consistency comes in. So even if I see you offering your consultation and I may not take it, I know I'm now aware that it is available. Right. The other thing is, let's just say I get on the consultation and I don't buy. That's okay. Nothing is wasted because I am now more connected to you because I had a conversation with you than I am with the other person who I have not had a connection with. And you're going to continue to do your content. You're going to continue to show up. You're still going to continue to post audios, I'm assuming, because I do follow you on social media. Post on social media what you have going on when you host your events and stuff. Then I'd be like, okay, yeah, Natasha's real. Natasha does, okay, I see what she's doing there. Let me go back. Let me come back. So give people an opportunity to circle back with you. So, all right, I'm letting my trap.
No, that was great. Waukesha said, wow, that with all the like 5 or 6 O's and W's, and I'm here for it too. So I love that. Again, I'm just adding to the next layer of the cake with the message inside. I love everything Alicia said. I'm just going to add to it. I love that you brought, I was thinking about like, you need to sell sooner. I teach a concept about rabbits and turtles. Some of you have heard it, but I just want to, as we talk about people might not last for 5 days, but I want to give you another perspective of that same comment. There are people who are ready to buy right now, everywhere. So and let me step back. Sorry, I got all into it. Rabbits move very fast, so we call them the rapid rabbits in my programs. Then we have the take my time turtles. I'm just gonna take my time and just walk real slow. And both of them are needed. Those take your time turtles, they be the ones where it's like, I had somebody that followed me months, like in March. They just signed up to work with me for this month. And it's like, you took your time. And then I got people who will find me for 5 minutes and they come in. And so it's exciting with those turtles because that's surprise money. You're like, they came in. Okay, cool. So both of them are needed. But if you only talk to the turtles, the rabbits are like, I don't know when she going to sell. She's so slow. I'm about to go over here, like what Alicia's saying. So I just wanted to give another visual to that concept of there are people who want to buy and invest. They literally saw my podcast, my freebie, whatever it was. They are planning an event. And what if you put this into your mind, Natasha? Their event is in 30 days. Or if it's maybe virtual or maybe it's within 30 to 90 days, or if it's in person, their event, they're doing a Q4 event. Like I forgot to bring, I had this in my notes for, I think it was Waukesha earlier, when you talk about people who don't want to buy. When y'all know who your client is so deeply, you also get to understand what their urgency points are. And that's something we're going to go teach deeper inside of Call to Thrive, the Revenue Reboot, when we have our messaging calls. But in quickness, like in short, you need to talk to and understand what are the urgency points of your people. That's how you connect with the rabbits, and you start turning those turtles into quicker turtles, and they become rabbits. So I wanted to add that. Also just adding to the freebie conversation. Alicia is our funnels person, so she said put I think she said 2 emails that sell your consultation, right? You said earlier in the funnel sequence. I'm gonna add this. I say freebie to pay me. In your freebie, you can sell the thing too. So if the person doesn't open the email, I'm still going to drop this in. It could be something as simple as, you have 5 videos. In the middle of video number 1, add in an ad. Just like in a podcast episode, add in an ad, right? So just think about that as well, how you can just add in an ad to promote whatever it is that you are promoting. And I put out a post a couple days ago about some like call to actions if you were putting out content, but it's the same: webinar content, email, video. Why do we wait until the end to sell? If you envision the people on this are getting value from me and they're ready, I don't have to wait until the end to sell. I can sell in the beginning, in the middle, and the end. So that's what I would encourage you to think about. So that's for that. Now I need to go somewhere else. I might be taking a left turn. So you tell me if I'm on. Natasha, I'm gonna need you to come off mute because I have a question for you. I don't know if I heard this. So you tell me. I heard you say something about you haven't put out the ways to work with you as much. You do a virtual, you do it in person.
Mm-hmm.
And then you said something like, it can be a little bit of a heavy lift for some people, so I make it easier for them to work with me. Did you say that? And can you explain to me what you meant by that?
Well, I meant that for someone who might want to do a larger event, that it could be a heavy lift for them to start working with me right away on that. Because they might have that thought in their mind, but it's not something that they're going to do right now. But if they're thinking about it, then having a consultation, like us getting on a consultation call, like us, talking through it, and me giving them strategy, or a way for them to see how they could do it or how I could support them and making it easier, then that's a lighter lift. That's what I mean. In terms of if you're thinking about working with me and you're like, you know what, because I've had that happen, right? Where people think about the event, they're like, oh my God, it's gonna cost me so much money. I'm gonna wait until next year. But if you have a consultation with me and we're talking through and I'm showing you ways that you could save money, or perhaps you don't have to do that larger event right now, you could do something smaller, then that's where I think that consultation becomes really valuable
Okay, thank
in
you
moving
so
the
much.
process forward. Uh-huh.
Thank you. Okay, so thoughts on that? Again, we always are sharing with love. One, I hope you are joining us because you and I need to do a whole deep dive into your ideal client. I just heard you talk about 2 to 3 different avatars. And here's what I mean. First, you said if somebody wants to do a larger event. So, in my mind, when I think this person wants to do a larger event, I feel like they are an established brand. So, they have a budget, they have the revenue, they have the income. Oh, you have 3. See that? Okay. Okay. We have to talk about that. You have 3. Do you successfully sell to all 3? Or is there one who continues to keep buying from you that we should maybe go all in and focus on? Just a thought, but let me stick with the larger event. So with the larger event, I feel like they must be a mid to large size brand because they want to add a larger event. So I don't think they're going to have the money issues that you're talking about. I think that, and y'all, that's why we have 3 coaches. Y'all add what you want. I feel like a person who's maybe a smaller middle size brand who wants to add an event might have all these money like objections and stuff. And the reason I'm saying that is because when you are talking about the wrong objections, she said, Lord, I'm tripping myself up again. It's okay. That's why I said this is love, right? I want to just say for everybody watching, do you see the things that get revealed when you're in a coaching space and you are literally revealing and exposing things? And it's a beautiful and safe space to do it in because we're like, oh, I see this. And that's where I was saying earlier, when you are so close to your stuff, you can't see. It doesn't take anything away from your expertise. Your like, listen, if we were having an event and you knew what you were doing, you're gonna be the best out of all 3 of us. That doesn't take away from our expertise. That just means, oop, nope, she's the event person. But if you got some messaging, okay, I'm this person. If you got market, so we have to understand like that doesn't take away from that. It's actually, ooh, I get to have 4 amazing brains, mine plus these 3 on my stuff and see the thing. So that's all that's happening here. Okay, so follow me here. See, I knew you had multiple avatars because I'm like, what? Something's there. Okay, so I was saying objection. So here's the thing: when y'all aren't clear on this is my person, like the main primary person, there can be some subcategories, but this is the main person. What happens is, and what I just saw, and you tell me if you don't see this, Natasha, I can break it down more, but let me know if you see this. You're talking all what you explained to me. You said, oh, I can tell them how they could save money by working with me and this and this and this. You're talking about objections that client level 1 would have, but you're saying larger event, which is for client level 2 or 3, and those objections won't connect with them. I want to pause before I go forward. Do you see that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Uh-huh.
Okay. So then you're not hitting the objections they care about.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, pay for money, save money for this.
What you talking
So
about?
yeah.
Right.
So then we got to go into, and that's where I do like client intimacy messaging in the program. Y'all can get access to all that. Go deeper into the highest level client. So just literally knowing nothing about your brand, I don't follow you, but I will be following you and all that good stuff. But so I don't know anything. This is intuitively like for you, the larger event brand, who is the bigger brand that wants that? What do they care about? And actually, I'm going to ask you the question that I asked. So you said you have.
You're muted.
Who's the one that buys, thank you, that buys the most from you out of those 3? Like never
Uh,
had an like starting like which level?
so if I would say the larger client is tier 3, and then my middle tier 2, so I would say 3 and 2. The one who buys from me the most right now is 2.
Okay. So they buy the most from you. What's the number
Yeah.
1 reason why they buy from you? Tier 2.
The number 1 reason is they are looking to either market a product or service or their company, or fundraise, because I do work with nonprofits. So it's so then tier 2 becomes split, right? Because it could be a business owner or it could also be a nonprofit, which I work a lot with as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And who's your favorite to work with? 1, 2, or 3?
Oh, I love threes because it's larger. It's usually a larger production. You get to be a lot more creative in the work that you do. And there's just so many different elements to it that really gets my juices going.
And what does 3 want? What's the number one thing they want?
Three is more so. So again, if looking at it from the perspective of the split in three, it's again a nonprofit who's fundraising, or a business owner who is looking to bring in more revenue for their business. So sales and enrollment events
So you're
or
saying 2 and 3,
fulfillment.
2 and 3 have the same wants? Is that what I just heard? They have the same wants: fundraising, revenue, sales, enrollment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we want to be careful with that. 2 and 3 can't have the same want. So, but we don't have time to go into that. But do you see
Mm-hmm.
they can't have the same one. So we gotta find that for 3 so that we make sure you're talking about the right objections to the right one. But what I'll do is I'll just focus on 2 since that's the one that buys the most, right? So instead of what you said is, oh, you can save money by working with me. They're thinking about working with me. I tell people this, stop worrying about your program. So the question isn't, let me help you see why you should work with me. Take you out of it. You're selling a solution, a transformation. Let me focus on letting you know why you having this next event is going to be the thing that elevates your revenue, that amplifies your enrollment, that allows you to connect deeper with your audience, that allows you to build your visibility, that allows you to hit your money goals, whether it's sales and revenue or it's fundraising. You see the difference in that?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you repeat it one more time?
Oh, girl, listen, you're gonna have to go back on a replay for
I'll
that
watch the
one.
replay.
No, but for the tier 2 person, instead
Yes.
of what you said earlier, you were saying like the ways that I'm gonna help you save money, you're thinking
Mm-hmm.
about working with me. I said pause on the whole working with you because it's
Mm-hmm.
actually y'all don't care about working with me. You don't care about working with us. There's something else you care about. You
Gotcha.
for your person, you just told me what they care about. We need to go deeper because there's some elevated stuff we can do with that. But I'm just using
Mm-hmm.
what you gave me for right now, just because we don't have time to go as deep. So what they want is, hey, when you book this consultation, we'll be able to map out how you're going to leverage your next event to amplify your enrollment into your program, to
Mm-hmm.
amplify your visibility so that you hit those money goals, whether it's your next level revenue and sales goals and or fundraiser goals, to get you in front of new audience members, to help you connect deeper to your audience. I was saying, do you see the difference of which
Yeah.
one I'm focusing on?
Yeah. 100%.
So now,
Mm-hmm.
perfect. So now what would I value if I'm your tier 2 person, or 3, but for you, your tier 2 person? You see why, which one am I going to want to click on? What value do I care about more? The first one or the second one?
Well, I would say the second one. I feel like they were both in there together. But I'll say the second one. You're talking about like the enrollment and hitting their money goals, correct?
Their enrollment, their money goals, but it's bigger. It
Mm-hmm.
was elevate your visibility with
Yeah.
this event, elevate your brand with this event, elevate your impact with this event. So much so that you enroll clients easier, so much so that you gain fundraising, opportunities easier, you gain money easier, this and that.
It would be absolutely that. Yeah.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
I did not mention in the second one anything about I'm going to help you save money to save for this event.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
didn't mention that. I didn't even talk about money unless I talked about you making money. So I would just transition even the value transformation. And one of the things we'll do in the program, you'll be making like transformation tables so that you get clear on what's really the deeper, parts of the value. So that where that comes in with Alicia, she's mapping out the funnel with you. What you don't want to do is go and do that funnel by yourself with the messaging that you had from before, because then
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna make the funnel all about, I'm going to help you figure out how you can save
Listen,
money
it
and get
sounds
ready for
good.
this event. So that's why me and
Yeah.
Alicia, we complement each other so well, because it's, wait, are we actually talking about the deeper value add, the deepest transformation, the biggest outcome and result that you help them deliver? Not your $2 problem, not the $20 problem,
That
but
part.
what's the $20,000, $2 million problem? And now that we have that, Alicia is like, okay, email number 1 is about this and 2 is about this, and we're putting this here and we're putting this here. They go together. So you don't want to go and make a funnel on your own and try to move things together, because then you're just taking your old messaging and putting it into a new funnel, but then it gets the same results. When you have elevated messaging and you have the elevated funnel together and all the mindset work, they work together cohesively. So I'm glad that we were able to do that quick exercise. Everyone, you know, who got to see it, awesome. I wish we could do the full real one, but that was just a quick one.
That was
I'm
excellent. Thank you.
perfect. So we're gonna talk to those rabbits. Let me just see, was there anything else? Oh, okay. I had like 5 things, but I'll just say my last one. I'm just gonna ask you this. Are you here for the impact of your work? Are you impact driven? Are you here for the impact?
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah,
Okay.
like that. Yeah.
Okay. So Justina may have some things to add for the mindset. So I'm gonna set it up. I just want to say, I want to drop this, and I want y'all to really sit with what I say. And some of y'all gonna have to sit with it tonight. When you do not sell your stuff, you are not impact driven. When you give your free stuff, you do a podcast, you do a newsletter, you're giving
Hmm.
all these tips, you're doing all this stuff. Great, awesome. I got motivated.
It's a
I didn't do
lot.
any, I didn't
Yeah.
do anything with it.
Hmm.
I do. Your people don't create impact from your free stuff. They might get motivated here and there, but there is not. We could sit and do a video that says, "Hey, go do this," but until you come into Call to Thrive, and now we're going through your messaging, your mindset blocks, your marketing. That's when you get to apply it, and it gets to have deeper impact. Therefore, you just getting a free thing does not do the impact the way that people coming into your offers does. So it is a disservice when you don't sell. So I wanted to say that with the whole like selling part.
Hmm.
um you have to sell, and forget selling. You have to invite them into the next step for the deeper transformation if you are truly a woman of impact, which I know y'all are. And so don't shy away from the selling part, and know that you do a podcast how weekly, how often?
I did a podcast bi-weekly, newsletter bi-weekly.
Okay.
Hmm.
And then how much do you show up in social media content in between those two things?
I mean, I would say probably at least 3 times a week.
Okay. So within that 2 week period, I've gotten a full produced podcast, I've gotten a
Listen.
newsletter, and I've gotten 6 pieces of content, because 3 and 3. So you mean to tell me you had that many touch points and you're afraid to sell to, you're like, oh, did I give you value? I just gave you all of this in a 2 week period. Of course, I have the right to now invite you to the next step for you to take action and create this event. And here's what this event is going to do for your brand and your business and your nonprofit and all the things. So why? So let's just rhetorical question. I want you to take this. Why am I looking to add more value before I invite them to the next step? Because I just added a whole lot of value already.
I can tell
Thank
you
you,
why.
Kira.
And now we lead into the mindset with Miss
It
Justina.
absolutely is. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Y'all two have gone, y'all went in. This is our last
Man
question.
on me, but it was good.
Yes, I think this is our last question. So we were like, we're gonna go all the way in with this one. I love everything that Alicia has shared, what Kiera has shared, like from marketing strategy to deeper messaging, all that beautiful stuff. Then she's like, if you're giving out all this value, why are you afraid to sell? Like, what holds us back from selling? And it is mindset. It literally is what it is. That this idea of, I want you to think for everybody in the room here, how do you feel when someone is quote unquote trying to sell you? And y'all can write down the actual feeling. I would love for you to write the feeling into this chat box right here, because you mentioned that you were on a newsletter and every time you look around, that person's selling, right? How does that make you feel? Because that feeling that you're feeling, you're actually projecting that same feeling, and you're thinking your audience is going to feel the way that you feel. And the thing is, you're not selling to yourself. And I think Kiera and Alicia have brought that home, because they're like, you got rabbits, you got turtles, you got all these different people that respond and react differently than you do to selling. So I don't see no emotions in the chat box on how you feel. But I can tell you that from my experience, and people have negative reactions to being sold to, right? They feel like, oh, when someone's selling to me, it can feel sleazy. It can feel like they just want to get something out of me. There's like all these resonating feelings. Exactly. Someone's trying to use me. They just want to take me for my money. There's all these negative connotations around selling. It can be impersonal, all of that. Thank you, Kiara, for sharing those. But The idea behind this selling is really, again, taking us back to that emotional frequency. And there's actually a scripture that came to mind, and I hope this gives y'all freedom, because what's happening is when you say this person's always doing this, you're attaching, I love that word too, that it's only transactional, impersonal, exactly. But you're attaching a judgment. This is going to be a hard truth for y'all, okay? That they're always selling. That is a judgment toward that person. And it's like, okay, maybe they're something you said here. Selling is serving. I mean, you didn't say it like that, but my brain is selling is serving. You're creating impact. So now we're judging this person because they sell all the time, or they're serving their people all the time. You want to be careful with that, because there's a spiritual law around judging others that are doing something that you actually need to be doing yourselves, right? So for in the same way, this is found in Matthew 7:2. It says, for in the same way you judge others, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured back to you. And oftentimes that measure that's coming back to you is you judging yourself for selling. So now it is, this person sells all the time, or these people are impersonal, or these people are transactional, or they're trying to, whatever it is in your mindset around selling, you've got to shift it. Selling is a good thing. Selling is positive. The whole time I'm gonna call my sisters, not by blood, but my sisters in the business, or we're gonna call it, the whole time they were talking about selling, I was thinking of put it in the newsletter, put it in the freebie, put it at the beginning, all of those things. And if there's any resistance that you're feeling toward that, you have to pull it out. We've got to pull it out. What is the resistance? And it is what it is when it comes to sales and this mindset part of it. I wrote down a few things on here. What else do I have? I have a homework assignment for you, Natasha. What I want you to do to shift the frequency is to celebrate those people who are selling to you every day. Send them a blessing. That's what I want you to do, because that's going to shift that energy for you. And then guess what? You're going to be able to celebrate yourself when you go and you are selling. So those people that you see on a day, I don't care if it's a commercial, I don't care if it's an email that comes when someone's selling, celebrate them. And so I want to ask you a question. When you think about celebrating those people that are selling every day, what comes up for you?
Oh, what comes up for me? It's like it's obvious that there is some sort of clearing out that needs to happen, because what it feels like is like, oh, well, I gotta push through and celebrate them, right? But when you really think about it, it's like, well, I'm celebrating someone who's doing something for their business where they're making money, and I'm celebrating them. Well, so what I had to push through was the feeling around my thought of how they go about it, right? So it's not necessarily like the celebrating of them doing what they need to do to get sales, is a feeling that I have around it. And so what was coming up was like, oh, you got to push through that particular feeling. So that was definitely a great exercise.
Yes. So I would challenge you to do that for the next week. Is just anytime you see it, celebrate it, because you're going to shift that judgment from I'm judging them to now I'm blessing them. And that's that feeling that you felt where you're pushing through is what's happening subconsciously for you when you go to try to sell. You're having to push through, right? And so yeah, I think that's I'm not gonna keep going. I know we've been at it for a while, so I think I've shared mostly what I want to say on this part here. I want to share that scripture, wanted to give you that homework assignment. I also let y'all know, like, money mindset, sales mindset, a lot of that stuff has to do with your past experience. I mean, Alicia brought it up way earlier. She was like, your little brother could have stole something out your piggy bank. I thought that was a good one. But I think it's good to go back through whatever your experience are, if you pull out a piece of paper and you think of all the times that you've been sold to or you saw people selling, what were your feelings? What are your stories around sales? And then when y'all come into the program, I can help y'all process through those things because there are some deeper layers to this on an emotional level, a belief level, all of that, and being able to teach you all certain methods that we do on the mind body level to help you release those things. So, and y'all know I'll be quoting them scriptures too. So that is what it is. And there's some more too on money that I would love to share with y'all. And so thank y'all
They'll
for
get that in our kickoff call.
Yes, thank y'all for being on with us. We did have a stopping time of 8:30, but our heart is to serve. So we just kept on going, which is so cool. I love this. My heart is just so like full to be able to serve in this capacity and alongside these amazing women, Kiara and Alicia, in their respective areas as well. So I'm gonna hand it over to I think Kiara?
Alicia.
Alicia. Beautiful.
Well, we appreciate each and every one of you. If you are catching this on the replay, do not hesitate to put your questions in the comments. We will definitely answer them as well. Mary, I know you came into the Zoom room on the tail end of it. So if you have any questions, all three of us, I know you follow Kiera as well. So you can always write your comment on her Facebook page up under the live stream. And so, and then all three of us will kind of monitor that as well. We'll get your question answered if you have anything about marketing, messaging, or mindset. And so we hope that y'all have enjoyed this experience. You got to see what it looks like to have three coaches coach you from all angles. You get a 3D perspective on your your concern, your issue, the thing that's holding you back or you feel like that's keeping you stuck. And so we would love to invite you to the Call to Thrive Revenue Reboot. It is a 6-week group mastermind experience. Just like we did this, you got to see it on camera. This is what you get for 6 weeks. And we do have 2 tiers. So you can come in to the mindset at at the ground level, and you will still get coached just like this. You get to meet with us every single week, but each week will be a different thing. One week will be about marketing, one week will be about messaging, one week will be about mindset, and it'll rotate from there. But all three of us will still be on the calls. So don't you worry about that. So you'll still get your 3 favorite coaches will be there. But also, if you decided you're like, I really want individual support, we have that tier as well. So when you come in at the highest tier, you get everything that the ground level gets, but at the higher tier, you get one-on-one with each one of us. So at the higher tier, you get not 1, not 2, but 3 coaches coaching you simultaneously one-on-one. We'll be in a closed container. So while we are doing, and so I know in our 6 weeks, when you're under marketing, the objective is not just to be coaching about marketing. We're going to be doing some work, honey. Okay. We're going to be mapping out your launch. We're going to be planning your sales cycle. So if you have a product, you have an offer, you have a consultation, wink, wink, that you are wanting to promote and sell, we're going to create an actual sales cycle together. But when you come in at that top tier, you get custom. You get a custom sales cycle. You get a custom marketing plan because we're working on one-on-one. And same thing with Justina. When you come in at the ground level, we're going to be doing a group tapping. We're going to be going through group protocols. We've been going through group coaching on how to overcome some of the blocks and the mindset beliefs that you're dealing with. But when you get to work one-on-one with her, then you get the individual custom tapping. You get to talk about your specific traumas, your specific disappointments, your specific things, and she's going to help you break through with those things. Same thing with Kiara. Kiara, you at the ground level, when you work with Kiara, we're gonna be in a group container. So that means depending on how many people are there, We're going to try to hit everybody as much as possible to go into their messaging, talking to their avatar, talking about their framework, talking about your framework. So, and what is framework? Framework just means, what is your process? There's a unique way, Natasha, there's a unique way, Mary, that you deliver results. Do people know about that? Have you put that out there? Have you slapped a registered or a trademark behind that? That's your unique way of delivering results. People need to know that you have a unique way of delivering results. That's what makes you stand out amongst the crowd. And so you're going to get that in a group setting. But when you go one-on-one with Kiera, now she gets to put her eyeballs on it. If you're like, oh, I think I have one, but I'm not quite sure, that is the time to actually ask her that, because now she's going to be able to help you pull that out with you in that top tier. And so if you click the link that's here in the chat, or click the link in the comment, if you're on Facebook, all you have to do is just put your email and your name there, and you will get sent automatically to the page that has all of the information about the top tiers and the ground level tiers. So 6 weeks, 2 weeks with marketing, 2 weeks on mindset, 2 weeks on messaging. We got a private Facebook group community, and we're going to be refining your marketing, your messaging, and your mindset. At the top tier, you get an additional one-on-one call with every single one of us, not together, but separately. So you get 3 coaching calls in this 6-week program. And then you will also have private boxer community with us. So in between calls, you can still have access to us and talk to us 24/7. It don't mean we're going to be responding 24/7, but you can put your comments in at 24/7 whenever you want. If you wake up in the middle of the night like, oh my gosh, why is this not working? You drop that in that boxer, and you could drop that in that boxer, and we would go in when we come in during office hours. And so I hope you really want to get information. Listen, there's no obligation. Just go in and just take a look at it and see if it is right for you. This is for the person who feels like, I'm a little shaky, I'm a little nervous, or not even then. You just want guidance. Sometimes having a coach, just knowing that someone has your back, makes you show up differently for your business. Being plugged into a community just makes you show up differently, because you don't feel alone. You don't feel like you're just a plastic bag floating through the wind. You feel like you got groceries in that bag, okay? And that is solid. It is not going anywhere. So I hope you, again, thank you so much for being here with us. We hope you enjoyed this live stream. If you have any questions, you can always continue to reach out to us in the comment section. We'll get answered to you. But ladies, that's all I have. I have nothing else.
I think we have served and delivered in all the things. So we can't wait to see y'all's information. Go ahead and hit the link for the page somewhere around this video and join us. And I'm excited about that private coaching chat channel, because if you like this, and we saw all the this is amazing and wows, imagine your coaching chat. You literally come in and the 3 of us are in there, and you're going to be asking us questions, but you have access to it in the program, and we get to continue to go deeper into your questions, literally how this was, but it's your private individual coaching chat for your stuff if you're in the VIP level. So that's the thing I'm really, really excited for. So yay, we got lots of claps and fires and all the things. So we can't wait to see y'all inside Call to Thrive, the revenue reboot.
Yes, and I forgot to tell y'all, we start October the 7th.
Yes.
I forgot the date.
You'll see all that when you get to the page.
Right, true, but just so you know.
Yeah, so good. I'm gonna stop our live stream. Let's see if I can figure it out.